welcome to another episode of Literature Podcast. I'm Joanna.
And I'm Mich, and it's officially February today, so in honor of the month, we are going to be having a special early Valentine's Day episode for you guys.
We're going to be discussing our favorite dinosaur erotica? Nope. Our favorite literary couples. That's what we're discussing today.
There we go.
We'll leave the prehistoric romance for another time.
Next week's episode.
Next week's episode, Taken by the T-Rex. I think that's
Did you just make that up?
That's actually a real book. It's actually one of the most popular ones, I think, because it keeps coming up.
I was like, wow, that's a good on-the-spot thinking right there.
Nope, I can just very vividly remember that book cover. It's real. You can get it for free on Kindle.
Oh. I might have to check that out, because now I'm curious.
On our next
It's like so disturbing that you know when something's like so disturbing that you're like, I kind of want to know more. That's kind of how I feel about it right now.
Same. We can read it together in horror. There's a series, and it's not the only one of its kind. It's actually a very popular genre in the monster erotica. If you're bored of vampires, werewolves, and zombies, dinosaurs. Triceratops.
Oh, Lord. What?
Get on top of the Triceratops.
You learn something new every day. I'm like speechless. I don't even know what's going on in the world anymore.
Me neither, but anyway, do you have any Valentine's Day plans?
Well, it's on a Thursday this year. So my plans are to wake up, get my kids ready to go to school, try not to forget to send their Valentine's cards to school. Around noon, I do have to head to the school because the parents are invited to like a Valentine's tea party, so that's going to be fun. Back home to make supper, which I usually on Valentine's Day make something special, so I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. But it'll be something Valentine related. Like there'll be hearts of sorts mixed in the meal. And then my husband usually brings me home like flowers or donuts or an iced coffee the one year. He's really sweet. He usually brings something home that evening for me. But aside from that, not really. How about you?
Well, we're probably going to go to some sort of fancy restaurant that is way out of our budget for the most part. Because we always celebrate Valentine's Day, my husband's birthday, and my birthday all in one dinner.
Because Valentine's Day is like right between your birthdays, right?
Yeah. It's just like his birthday, Valentine's Day, my birthday. It's ridiculous.
At least it's all in like one zone.
So he'll probably get me flowers and something. Normally he gets me something Skyrim related. That's been pretty much a tradition, but I pretty much have everything now. Like there's nothing coming out. Not everything. But our first year together, he got me Skyrim for the PS3, and then Skyrim VR was last year. And he's gotten me the regular Skyrim remastered before for the PS4. I've had a ridiculous amount, and now I already have the version for the PC. So
he has no other versions to buy you.
Yeah, there's no other versions that I need. So we'll see. I'll probably get roses. But there's a Skyrim cookbook that's coming out. It's actually an Elder Scrolls cookbook, but that's coming out in March.
Oh, too late.
Yeah, too late.
Maybe next year.
The Dragonborn will nom on that book.
All right. So without further ado, let's get started. So this actually was really hard for me. You brought up this concept last night of like, hey, we should do literary couples. And I typed out about 20 couples because there are so many good ones. I didn't realize how many couples I actually liked. So, like, there's a bunch that aren't on my list, like, that I wanted to kind of shout out. So, like, Peeta and Katniss, Kai and Cinder, Bella and Edward, Christian and Anna, Hadrian and Zachariah, Cole and Irene. Like, so many good ones. But I managed to narrow it down to 5. Took about 20 minutes, but I was able to do it. So my first one is going to be Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. It's, like, just the most epic love story of all time. They start off basically hating each other's guts. But over time, after spending quite a bit of unexpected time together, they end up falling like so madly in love that they realize they can't live without each other, despite all of the hardships that would be caused, and despite what anybody would say about their relationship. It's just such a classic feel-good love story, and it's a pain in the ass to read. I don't know if you've read Pride and Prejudice. Ugh, such a pain in the butt to read.
Finish it.
But it is such a good story. I love them.
All right, my favorite couple is definitely Rhys and Feyre from A Court of Mist and Fury. If I'm spoiling that for you, sorry.
Oh, too bad.
But they treat each other as equals, which I don't see that a lot in YA Lit. I feel like it's always the man or the woman is superior, and they literally treat each other as equals. They treat each other as separate people and respect each other. But I do love their teasing and their flirting. And the banter between them is rare, but it's hilarious. Like, I love it. But I really want to see where their relationship continues. I need to have the next book in the series, especially after the Easter egg in Kingdom of Ash.
Yes. Oh.
In that moment.
So excited.
I need the
There's no
next
news
book.
of it. Like,
Nope.
I want to know when it's coming.
Even
Oh
just
my
the
goodness.
name. I just want to know.
Yeah.
A court of
Give
what?
us a date. Be like, yes, it's coming in 2021. I'd be happy with that even. Like, just
Yeah.
give us something to look forward to. Okay. So my next one is Cress and Carswell Thorne from the Lunar Chronicles. Again, that might be a spoiler, but that one too is everywhere. They have the cutest relationship. They're funny and witty, and they can always joke to and about each other. They treat each other as friends as well as, like, a couple. They're so much like Leia and Han Solo from Star Wars that it's, like, such a nostalgic love, and it's such a nostalgic feeling relationship that you just can't help but, like, fall for them. I love this couple with all my heart. There's nothing like a couple that can make each other laugh, as well as, like, have each other's backs, no matter how much the other one annoys you at times. Like, they're just so cute together, and I love it.
They sound adorable.
They are so cute.
I really need to read that series.
Isn't it on your list?
It is on my list. All right, my next couple is from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I was originally gonna pick Arwen and Aragorn, and I changed my mind very quickly when I was like, but who do I really love? But I love Éowyn's character and Faramir, and I love them together. And she reminds me a lot of Elide from the Kingdom of Ash series. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
The Thorn of Glass series, god damn it. I can't talk today. But she reminds me of her. She's just a badass. But I love how Faramir just respects her wishes. He doesn't want her to get hurt. He does give her a lot of advice. But he doesn't take full pity on her, and he sees how strong she actually is. And I feel like a lot of other characters just viewed her as this little poor weak woman.
Mm.
And he saw her as the badass that she is. And I love that. My heart.
My heart.
My heart.
All the feels. All right. So my next one is Mr. and Mrs. Weasley from Harry Potter, obviously. I feel like the Weasleys needed to be added to this list because we don't actually, like, know much about their love story. But we know nothing of how it started. They have a huge, loving family. Their kids are all great, like, with the exceptions of Percy, obviously, because he's a douche nugget.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would take a lot of teamwork and, like, special parents to raise kids, especially ones that are as rambunctious as the twins. Like, they don't have much in their lives. They have, like, a little house, and they have a bunch of kids, and they're poor, and, you know, they can't afford much. But they have each other, and that seems like it's enough for them, and they just love each other so purely. You can see that through everything they do. Like, they have each other's backs. They are always there for each other. Yeah, they have a couple arguments throughout the series, but you can tell that their love is just really pure. And, like, obviously it's long lasting because they're they've been together for years since they were in school, and it's just so nice to see such a developed couple. And I think that they're just the cutest couple ever.
I love the Weasleys. They're just so sweet. I do love in the Chamber of Secrets when they steal the car. How was it? She's super pissed. Like, that's their argument, like a little slap. Quit. They're adorable. I love it. Alright, there's no way we couldn't have a list of couples without Gus and Hazel from The Fault in Our Stars. Even though their relationship is actually very short, they definitely made the most out of the time that they did have together. Gus is probably one of the most outrageously romantic characters I've ever seen in YA. Like, there's a lot of romantic characters, but never expected him to do everything that he did in that kind of position. That's just crazy. And Hazel definitely felt a lot for him, even though she was a lot more cut off from worrying about what would happen to him if anything happened to her. But they had a lot of things that were wrong with their relationship, but they made the most of it. And even in the beginning, they knew that they'd probably never have the happily ever after like most couples. They still decided to love each other anyway.
I'm not sure what to add to that. I'm just going to go on to my next one. I was going to say something, but then it's just kind of like, aw. All right, so my next one is Alec and Magnus from, all of the Cassandra Clare books. I think they become a couple in, like, the first one. I love them together. They balance each other out so well. One is quiet and reserved, and the other one's, like, outgoing and, like, outrageous and flamboyant and out there. And I love it. They pull each other out of their comfort zones while still respecting each other's opinions and limits. And it's just really nice to see. Like, Magnus is so good for Alec. He really brings him out of his shell. And Alec brings, like, a special calmness and peace to Magnus's intensity and his insanity. They're both so romantic in their own ways, and they just treat each other with so much love. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm going to stop there. But eventually, things happen where you can't help but just love them even more as a couple when they start going through more hardships and more relationship stuff. And yeah, you'll see when you get there, because I don't want to spoil it for you either. So, I just love them so much.
My next one is Khal Drogo and Daenerys from Game of Thrones, which I'm so excited you got to start watching this show.
Yeah, we just started it last week.
So excited. It was funny that you were telling me that. My husband's right there, and he's like, this part, and this thing, and this thing. And I'm like, honey, shut up. We're not there yet. But at first, they were not a couple that I thought I would care for. Like, when I started watching the show before I read the books, but I did not think that was going to be a very good arranged marriage at all.
Like, I haven't read the books.
I was horrified for her. But they did fall in love, which I didn't expect at all. And they're from two different worlds. Like, he seems so barbaric compared to what she's used to. And she has to get used to this whole new world. And she ends up, like, loving it and loving his people and just everything they have. And yeah. I'm not going to spoil anything, but he does some things for her. Then I'm like, you're a badass. That was barbaric, but I think she's digging it right now. Oh, wait, yes. You're on season 2. You're on season 2.
I haven't read the books. I am on season 2. I'm on season 2, episode 8. I have to watch tonight.
So you've seen what happens to her brother.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I was so happy. So freaking happy. Okay. Yeah. I agree with you, by the way. I haven't read the books, but at first I was kind of, like, wary about their relationship. But then by, like, the second time you kind of see them together, as soon as she, like, made that flip, you know what flip I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. As soon as she made that flip, all of a sudden it was just like, yes. They were just like, oh. I wanted to see their story. I wanted to see how it progressed. I loved everything about them.
Yeah, like, they just...
And yes, he does do some quite intense stuff for her. I just love their nicknames for each other every time.
Demon stars. I love
every
it.
time. I was just like, yes! My heart!
Like, they grow just such a deep understanding and respect for each other.
She learned a whole new language for him.
Yeah.
And, like, he was even kind of speaking English there for, like, you know, like, he would really try.
Yeah.
So cute. Okay. So
them.
my next one is Maxon and America from the Selection series. I like this couple. They're cute. They started off by kind of like making a deal to get through a tough situation, which I thought was funny. But then they slowly kind of start warming up to each other as friends. And then eventually, I say eventually, but honestly it was like quite quickly, they end up falling for each other, and they would do anything for each other once they realize these feelings. And all of a sudden it's like very intense. And like they would take bullets for each other, which they have. And after all this stuff happens and all of that they go through in the first 3 or 4 books, then they make it through and come out on the other side even stronger. And then in the last 1 or 2 books, they go on to have a lovely family, and they just love each other like so much, even after 20 years and 3 kids, and all the drama of being king just can't ruin them. And it's just such a sweet relationship. I love it.
I haven't read that series.
It's a good one. It's very quick. Very quick series.
I hear about it a lot. It wasn't something that I initially saw and thought I would ever pick up, but I keep hearing how good it is.
I wasn't a huge fan of the last, I think it was 2. I feel like the Selection, I liked Maxon and America's story. I'm not a huge fan of, like, I think it's Edelyn, their daughter. I'm not a huge fan of her story. But I like the original section of it.
Okay. My last couple is Remus Lupin and Nymphadora Tonks from Harry Potter, of course. Is this spoilery? It's not spoilery. If you haven't seen anything by now, Sheltered Life, how did you even find us? But even though their relationship, it started off very reluctantly on Lupin's part, which I understand where he's coming from. Mm-hmm. I love that he does eventually come around, and I do love that he did care about Tonks enough that he didn't want her to live the kind of life that he has to live because of being a werewolf. Because his life's kind of shit. Mm-hmm. His life's super shit. But Tonks loves him so much that she doesn't care about that, and that says a lot about how much you care, that you're willing to sacrifice a lot of the good things in your life to be with that person. And then them having a baby together, little Teddy, right before the Battle of Hogwarts, and then they go in and fight together.
It's like one of the saddest things ever. Like, I feel so bad for Teddy.
I do too. I wish one of them had stayed behind in a way, so that he would have had one of them, but I also understand they needed to go. Mm-hmm. That was all we had for today's episode. Who are your favorite literary couples? Let us know in the comments below.
If you'd like to get more lit, be sure to subscribe to us on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Castbox, or anywhere else you can find us. All of our other social media is linked below.
Be sure to like this episode or give us a review. It really helps us to keep doing what we love. Until next time, bye.
Bye.